What's on Your Mind is sponsored by ACC 339 Dudley Road, New Star Radio 98.7 FM, Breakthrough Studios, and Reggae Jam Jam.
Good afternoon, guys. How you doing? Let me say welcome to another program, the series of What's on Your Mind. I'm Carl. Program is produced by Breakthrough TV and also sponsored by Reggae Jam Jam, a chase of the Caribbean. So how you doing? It's cold, absolutely cold. It's cold today. It's been cold all week, so well, I'm trying to keep warm, in some kind of way. I want to say a big shout out to my guest last week we had on the program, the Hat Man. Big shout out to the Hat Man. And the Hat Man, don't forget the Hat Man got a Boxing Day sale. Check it out. Absolutely wonderful brother. He was just a cool brother. We really love having him in the studio. We love having everyone in the studio that we actually have. I want to say thanks to all you guys who actually take part in the program this year. It's been fantastic. And I must say, in all the people that we actually invited to the program, at least only about 0.5% that sometimes is not able to make it. And that's not because of anything. It's just because, in general, they're very busy or they're tied up or they're doing something else. That is not so. We say massive thanks to you. I also want to apologize to Mr. Carlos Gabidan down here in Jamaica. Now, last week, Carlos is one of our regular viewers in Jamaica. And he's been on this program before, you know what I mean? So, but last week I came across a bit of an article on social media where he actually said that his sister had died, but his sister was like a girlfriend. Yeah, so I sort of take it. So his sister was like a sister. So I send condolence. But his sister was actually his girlfriend, and he was actually talking about a girl. So let me actually say, I totally apologize for that. And his sister is really fine. You know what I mean? No disrespect to his sister, and we clear that up. I want to say also big condolence, Carlos, to your girlfriend or one of your girlfriends. So let me say big condolence to that. So let me make that clear up. My guest is a mother. She's a DJ. She's a host. She does an awful lot of things over the years. Can I say over the years? My guest is actually Jennie P. Good afternoon, Jennie P. How you doing?
Hey, I'm good.
Welcome to Breakthrough TV.
Thank you for having me.
How are you?
I'm good.
You're good?
Yeah.
Now, I know we've been trying to link up for a long time. And you're finally dropping. How you doing?
Yeah, well, it's a busy schedule, when you're a mother, like you said. Yeah, and just trying to do every little thing. There's not enough hours in the day, is there?
I know. And so you're busy juggling different things.
Always juggling things.
Always different things.
Yeah.
And how's the weather treating you? Because we were talking about the weather. You said you don't really want to be here in this weather.
I'm sure I can speak for half the population here that, this year, so far it's been so cold.
Yeah.
And it's not even Christmas yet. I mean, when I had my firstborn in February, it was snowing. And that was in 91.
Yeah.
So, 2023 now, and it's cold now in September.
And your mother, how many children you got?
3.
You got 2 children?
3 children.
Absolutely fantastic. Yeah. And you're talking about the weather because this time of the year I'm jogging. I'm really jogging. I jog a lot and I run a lot.
Right.
But at the moment.
Are you struggling?
I'm struggling.
I'm struggling. Yeah, because I do that as well.
Yeah.
So for the last week I haven't done it because of the cold.
Yeah.
I literally just waking up and getting that initial getting out the bed thing, and you can just feel the cold outside. It just. Yeah.
And what I start doing, sometimes when I don't work, I don't sort of work. I don't have to work every day. And sometimes when I don't work every day, I'm staying in bed till 10 o'clock.
Yeah, sometimes. I do have that in my head sometimes, but it never works.
It never works.
Your body's in a routine.
Yeah, that's right.
You just don't end up waking up the same time. Anyway.
And it's amazing because one day, I think it was about 3 weeks ago, and I haven't done this for years. My shift actually, what I do actually gets me up very early, and sometimes it gets me very late. Mm-hmm. And actually, one day I wasn't working, and I stopped in bed all day. You ever heard of a do-overs day?
Yeah,
I haven't done that from about 18, 19.
Yeah, we love them. When we can get them. Yeah. Just binge watch Netflix. Yeah.
All I did was get up and have food, and I went back to bed.
Yeah. So it's the 2 things you do, isn't it, when you have one of them days? You get up, you wash, you eat, and you just stay in your bed. We like them days when we can get them.
They don't happen very often.
No.
Anyway, as you know, I'm going to look at a couple of stories across the world. You can comment,
Yes.
you know what I mean, and then we'll take it to you. Then we'll we're going to trace your journey.
Okay.
let me do my glasses. I don't know why I do, because I can't see shoot anyway. Now, this is a very, very serious story. Now, a man has killed 4 members of one family. This was a brutal attack in South London, happened last year. And Joshua Jacks, as I say, he's from South London. He killed his girlfriend. He kills his girlfriend mother. He kills his girlfriend mother's partner, and he also kills her nan. And he's in court. And he was actually, they say in court, he was actually a drug, fuel, alcohol attack. You know what I mean? And he's admitted that he's done it. But the only thing is that they're trying him for murder. So he's denied he's murdered them, but he's admit that he's doing it. And the case is continued. This happens last year in April sometime. Why I'm talking about the story, because we actually covered this when it actually happens. But as I say, it's gone to trial now. And we see those cases, Jenny, which is absolutely disgusting and terrible. And sometimes you don't even want to comment on them. And there's so many things going on in the world at the moment in time. But when I see this story, I had to get it out. You know? I mean, I had to talk about it. What do you think about things like that?
Well, he's admitted murder.
No, he's admitted killing them, but he hasn't admitted murder.
Okay, so it's a bit confusing.
No,
isn't
it can be murder and killing can be very, very confusing.
Yeah, because what's the difference?
Yeah, I always struggle.
It ends in the same result.
I always struggle to understand that myself.
And then, if that's the case, he was on drugs and alcohol. You said.
And alcohol, yeah.
So everybody and anybody knows that when you're under the influence of them kind of drugs, it's going to take you into another place.
That's right.
So that in itself, must tell you as a person that clearly you wasn't in the right frame of mind. That's what we're talking about. Yeah. And if you're going to admit to killing somebody, then you've not murdered. It's a slaughter bath is what you've done. You killed more than one person. Yeah. So it's actually not murder, is it? I think, what do they call it when you've killed more than one person?
It's a massacre, isn't it?
There you go.
It's a massacre.
So maybe that's what he needs to be charged with.
That's right, yeah. But the law, you know what they say about the law?
Yeah.
Yeah?
It's not great.
Not great.
No.
Let me move on. Now, let's go a bit lighter, because there's so much things going on in the world. There's just so much heavy things going on. It's very, very distracting with all the things that's going on in the Middle East. So let me go a little bit lighter. Now, Inner Circle. Remember Inner Circle, the reggae band? Inner Circle, Bad Boys track has been certified silver in the UK. It was released in 1987. 36 years ago, and it has been the theme for the movie. I think the original film actually started as a television series in America and then became a movie. And I say, Bad Boys been certified silver. Bad Boys, what do you think about Bad Boys song?
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah, it's actually taken from an album called One Way.
Yeah,
which was actually marvelous at a particular period of time. Yeah. So it's good to see that happen. But it takes such a long time.
Yeah, I mean, this is a thing in this world, isn't it? Some people can get their flowers immediately as they get successful into their business, and some people are in it for many, many years before they get established for what they've actually contributed into the world. Yeah. I always say better late than never. Yeah. Recognition is a great thing. You don't always have to, have awards or be acknowledged in that way, as long as, people can see what you're doing is great.
That's right. I totally agree. I could give you the points there.
Yeah, you got the ring on. I don't really want any fingerprints on.
I want to do that.
Not to First Lady.
I want to do that. My hands are not that powerful anyway. No. Let me move on. See, we already had fun, guys. We already having fun.
Yeah. That's what
now,
it's about.
Universal Music. It's called Max Romeo. $15 million lawsuit as a fishing expedition. We talked about this earlier, and we talked about this a couple of weeks ago. And as I say, Max Romeo is actually filing a lawsuit. He actually filed it last year in the Supreme Court in the United States, and it concerns 50 years of unpaid royalties, allegedly. 19 songs, including Chase the Devil, War in a Babylon, and One Step Forward. And let's say, Universal Music has asked the judge to actually dismiss the case. It hasn't come to that stage yet. Once again, there's not a lot we can say about this because the situation is still going on in courts. But it comes to mind, and it brings to my knowledge that once again we see Another Jamaican artist is in court fighting for their rights again. And this seems to happen a lot with Jamaican artists and getting their rights. They've seen all sort of things have happened to them over the years. And you know how I feel about that. But my feelings can't be expressed in this sort of program. Jennie P, what do you think of that? Because you're in the business, you're an entertainer, you're a musician, you're a DJ.
And I've interviewed many artists who have said that to me.
Yeah.
And it's sad because they've worked so hard
Yeah.
to achieve and become the person they are today, and yet they're not getting their royalties.
That's right.
They're not getting paid for the work that they're doing.
Yeah.
How is that right? It's not right.
It's not right. It's
So,
not right.
you know, universe, for them to want to throw it out, of course they're going to want it. It doesn't look good on them, does it?
No.
And if they don't, you know, obviously if he wins this case, then imagine the amount of other people that are going to jump on it.
I know.
But also think about those artists who actually haven't got the money to take it to court now.
Yeah, yeah.
They're just sitting there and they're not able to get their money, and they've lost out.
Yeah.
So somebody has to take that stance. So I'm quite glad he's in the position that he is, and just pray to God that, you know, he gets what he rightfully.
Yeah, I mean,
earned.
the guy's nearly 80, and he's been making records from such a long time.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
see, it's not fair, is it?
It isn't fair. I wish it just happens to so many artists over the years. I mean, come on, you and I know artists who was gone. Several who's gone, and they didn't get their rights. They didn't get their loyalty. You know what I mean? The royalties. And I did explain in the early days, you see, in the 60s, in the 70s, in the early 60s. I did explain how difficult it was with sort of this, because you know, being in the business, a lot of artists, and I'm not saying this about Max, you know what I mean? A lot of artists, if they're traveling, and you have a studio, and I says, oh, Jennie, I'm a singer, and Jennie, I'm gonna come to your studio, and I want to make this track. I come into your studio, you got a backing track, and I sing on the backing track, and you pay me. It's done. I'm not entitled to any more rights. And this used to happen a lot. It's like the dub, when somebody makes a dub, you know that. It's like when somebody makes a dub, and you know that. So, and I'm not saying this happens with Max Romeo, but this used to happen a lot with reggae artists, you know what I mean? Over the years, it's changed, but those are some of the things that actually happens. Even artists who used to put tracks out back to back. Artists such as Frankie Paul, remember? Back to back. And that's what happens.
But then you got to look at the actual country, because does that happen in England?
I think that happens in England when artists are traveling. When artists are traveling, if there's artists and I have been in this situation. If artists is traveling in England, they say the great Charles Riley might be traveling in England, and he said, listen, I'm doing a tour. Hey, listen. And I call him and says, listen, come and do one of my tracks. Come and voice this track for me. He probably says, oh yes, Carl. I says, listen, I'm gonna give you $5,000, and it's free. And it's finished. If the record goes big, he doesn't get anything. And if I have that track, and it's mine. That's it. I've already paid him, and that's what happens.
Yeah, but you see, the thing for me is that what we have in England is a thing called contract.
Yes.
And it's very vital and important when you're doing things like that you have a contract, because that is what you need.
Yes.
To be able to go to court and say,
yes,
you've got to evidence these things. And if, unfortunately, you know, many a times, you know, we become friends with people, and we think they're our friends, and yes, let's do this, it sounds really good, and you don't think that actually you need to have a contract in place in anything that you're doing just to secure yourself.
And you need to write, I explained this a long time ago, and you need to read the fine print of what is going on in the contract, because if you don't, and I say, it does happen, and if you don't sign that contract, that's what happens. And if you don't find it and has somebody, as you say, who's trustworthy or who knows, you know what I mean, the business. And the other thing as well, I'll talk about as well, some of us, you will have knowledge, I will have knowledge, you know what I mean, but it's very, very hard for somebody to listen.
Yeah.
Because sometimes people don't listen, because they know it all. And that is also a drawback. I may not be a lawyer, I may not be at that legal position, but I can give you some information. If you're not prepared to take that information, you know what I mean, then you know,
you can do about it.
There's nothing you can do about it, and that is what happens, and that is also some of the drawback. But we're just discussing that because I'm sure this is not what is happening in the Max Romeo case. You know? But we're just trying to explain what kind of actually happens. Now let me move on. Now, staying with entertainment. Now, Kingsley Ben Adair. He actually said in Dancehall magazine he learned to speak Patois. He's been having Patois lessons from Jamaicans because he's actually taking part in doing the biopic, the Bob Marley biopic movie. So and he actually said It felt daunted. He felt very daunted for him to actually take the part. And he says, Ziggy Marley asked him, and he was contemplating on taking the part, but they keep asking him and asking him and asking him. He says, I can't sing, I can't dance. He tells EW this. He says, I can't sing, I can't dance. And he says there's a lot of people in the world that I could have taken that part, but he said they keep asking him to do the Bob Marley film, One Love, the biopic of Bob Marley, which is One Love. And they keep pushing him and pushing him. In the end, he's actually admit that he actually decided to do it. The film will come out next year in February. So I think it actually comes out the 16th of February in the UK. I think in the United States it's different, but it actually comes out in the UK next year. Kingsley Ben Adair.
I mean, my take on it is one thing I don't like is obviously they said that he didn't have no experience with dancing. He had to have lessons chatting patois. Like, really? Like, why would you do that when you could probably get somebody who already knows patois, who already knows how to sing? It doesn't make sense to me. That, for me, is a lot of hard work for him. He may have executed his other acting skills, but in this role, I think it takes a special kind of somebody to play Bob Marley, the legend. I haven't seen it. Obviously, it's not out till February. I've seen a bit of the trailer, but I'm a bit indecisive as to what's it going to be about. I'm interested to watch it and see.
I think it probably be very good. And I mean, he was recruited by Ziggy Marley, his son, Bob Marley family.
But it begs the question: Bob Marley's got loads of children and grandchildren. Why didn't you just let one of them do it?
Well, that is also.
I don't understand
that is also very, very.
That would make sense to me. They actually would look like Bob Marley as well.
Yeah, and he actually said, I mean, he wasn't, as I say, he says even though he has done different things, he had played Malcolm X and Obama.
Yeah, and
he didn't prepare him. He didn't actually prepare him to step into that role.
Yeah.
You know. But I'm gonna leave my judgments until I see the film.
Yes,
and probably
exactly.
I'll be the last one to see the film because that's the sort of time I'm always fighting with. You know what I mean? So that is where I'm at with it. But you know, we'll wait and see. But as you know, he's actually a British actor. You know what I mean? So we'll see how that goes. Now let me move on once again. Now dancehall. Let's talk about dancehall a little bit. Vanessa Bling. She was in London. She was in the Indigo at the O2 in London on Sunday, and she had put on a wonderful performance, and everybody was quite happy with that. So we see that is going on there. So we say big shout out to Vanessa Bling and massive respect. Vanessa Bling, anything about Vanessa Bling?
Dancehall. I play dancehall, but I am selective with the dancehall that I play.
Okay.
So there's not all dancehall DJs that I will play or I rate.
Yeah, great. Jennie P.
Yes.
So, you're a mother.
Yes.
You're a DJ.
I am.
You're a host.
I am.
You've met a lot of artists over the years. In fact, in the West Midlands, I'd say in the media or in the social media, there's hardly a person who doesn't know the name Jennie P. Anniversary 25th Award. DJ, host, presenter. Where did that start for you?
Excuse me. Okay, so obviously I'm not originally from Birmingham.
Okay.
People
tell me where you're from then.
Ask me where am I from.
Where you come from?
Originally from Derby.
Oh, you're from Derby, yeah?
Yeah. All my family, most of my family are in Derby. That's where I was brought up.
Okay.
My father was a sound man, so I have been listening to music from I was in nappies.
Wow.
Basically, my dad was a sound man, so we played at all kind of blues and dances and so forth. So, you know, growing up, that was always in the forefront of my life.
School, what about school? How did that go out with school?
School was okay. I put my head into subjects I enjoyed and subjects that I didn't. I just didn't. I was one of those. Yeah.
Okay. And can you remember your first sort of, what was your first lineup? Your DJ, so what can you remember your first set, what you actually played? How was that?
Okay, so I think, obviously I was playing music. My dad had a sound, like I said, so, you know, I had the opportunity to be able to go to blues and string up this set and, you know, put it down and move the boxes and do all those sort of things, but what I really wanted to do was actually play the music.
Yes.
You know, the nitty gritty of
Yes,
it all.
yeah, and what I'm driving at is here where you know when you're driving a car, right? And you learn to drive a car, right? And the first time you sit in the car and you're on your own in the car driving it,
Yeah.
that's what I'm talking about. When you was actually your first time driving this on your own, what you
I'd
do?
have to say maybe Real Radio, my first station that I played at in Birmingham. Yeah, and I was nervous.
Yeah.
I have to say, I was very nervous. I was with a DJ at the time as well who encouraged me to go on the radio. So that was very encouraging and supporting of him. So that helped me. And yeah, and then I just was doing that every week. I was also at Don Christie's at the time as well. So I was playing vinyl anyway.
you was
I
at Don
was
Christie?
selling vinyl. Yeah. So I worked at Don Christie's from '93.
Was that in City Centre on Ladypool Road?
City Centre near the market.
Oh, the market, because you know he was on Ladypool Road many years
He
ago.
was, but I didn't actually work for Don.
Okay.
Yeah, Don wasn't the manager when he'd left when I was there in '93.
Okay. So that is actually good. Your trip from Derby, what allowed your trip from Derby to Birmingham?
So my son's dad came from Birmingham. So that was, for me, when I had my son, I felt like I needed to be a really positive role model to my son. That was the most important thing for me at the time. And I just wanted to be able to give him the best start in life. And in order for me to do that, I felt I needed a fresh start, somewhere where I could get my education on track. I had loads of goals I wanted to achieve. So that was my driving force, first and foremost, was my son, when I came to Birmingham. But then, obviously, I went to college, I graduated, but that's when I got the job at Don Christie's.
Okay.
But my dad was also doing dances and things like that, and I'd still be moving with him and doing that. But I wasn't really playing for him. It was when I came to Birmingham I was really playing more.
We're going back a little bit. Considering even working in Duncan Street, and considering even let's even drag it a little bit further on. Considering you're a DJ in what is constantly a predominantly male dominated sections. Yes, industry then.
Yeah.
And there's not, I know you're going to elaborate on this, and there's not a lot of, I can think of Jennie P, and I can think of a couple more, and I can think of a girl called Sonic, who's actually made it big, really, but there's not a lot of female. There's a lot of female on radio, you know,
Yeah.
but there's not a lot of female actually doing what you're actually doing. So how do you cope in that situation in a male-dominated industry?
See, this is a broad spectrum for me.
Yes.
I mean, I grew up with brothers.
Yes.
And being around my dad and my brothers, as well as my sisters. But I was quite a tomboy when I was younger. Like I said, I'd be moving boxes and wrapping up the wires for the speakers and things like that. So I was always in a male-dominant. There was always males around me.
Okay.
So that was nothing to me
Yeah.
to be around males anyway. When I worked in Don Christie's, it was just males. Do you know what I mean?
That's what I'm saying, yeah.
It was just something I was always used to growing up, being around males all the time, and I can actually relate and understand. And yeah, being a tomboy as well kind of helped,
Yeah.
I love kicking football and watching football and doing all them man things. I think for me as a woman, it was more about proving to men that I can do what you can do. Doesn't mean because I'm a female I can't do it.
Yeah, and that's what I'm trying to say. It's just like getting into the sort of.
Yeah,
That's what
yeah.
And we not only just see that thing. We see it in music. We see it in artists.
Yeah.
We're artists. We see it in sort of reggae music, even dancehall music. We see where it's like it's changing a little bit more. It's getting a little bit better.
Oh, it is.
It's getting a little better. But even sort of when I started in the business, it was like a total male dominated area. You know what I mean?
It has been a hard road.
Thank you.
I have to say, as like you said, one of the first females, and I, starting from my dad, really, it was difficult because I really wanted to play music when I used to see him playing all the time, and I'd be there, from nappies growing up, junior school, and all I wanted to do was play music. But because I had brothers, it wasn't for me, and women weren't playing them times.
No.
So he wasn't encouraging me or supporting me to do that.
Yeah.
And it was just a yearn in my heart that I had, and I just wanted to do.
Yeah.
So when I moved to Birmingham and I was able to play at Don Christie's, and my dad came to the shop and he saw me spinning the 7-inch and that, and he's like,
Oh,
And that's when he took more interest in what I was doing at
Yeah.
that point. But up until that point, I'd done everything on my own.
Mm.
And I had a point to prove to him.
Yeah.
I just wanted to prove a point to my dad that women can play music.
Yeah.
And I did it.
Right. Where's your dad from?
Jamaica,
Okay.
Spanish Town,
That's
Point
what-
Hill.
That's what Spanish time. Oh, great, great. And we're talking about women here and that sort of issue. If any young people who's actually starting out, you know what I mean, sort of doing what you want to do, being a female DJ or a woman DJ, or what you the sort of thing you're doing, how would you go about encouraging them? What would you say to them? What would you say to them?
Again, at 30 years in the business this year, I've been doing it. And like I said, I had a real big struggle with the males around me. And, lots of stories to tell and sabotages that happened along the way. And I feel like being in this business as a female, you definitely do have to be strong-minded. You can't just pet and pamper and allow them to dictate, oh, you can come on at this time, or you can... thousand now, so it's about 50-50. So as much as a man can go up there and kill a dance, I know I can go there and kill a dance.
Okay.
Same tune you're playing, I can play and probably do better because I play for the people, and not all DJs play for people.
That's right.
They play for themselves or their brethren. I'm not that DJ, that presenter, that entertainer.
Okay.
That's why I do what I do.
Okay.
And I've mentored many females purposely over the years because I felt kind of on my own as a female in this business and fighting for some kind of equality with the males. So any females I've come across over the years, I've done quite a lot of mentoring and took them on board and encouraged them and supported them. And yeah, I've got a few.
That's great.
And I will continue to do so. And I feel like there is a lot more females that are here now doing excellent work. You've got Natural Mystic in Manchester, you've got L Vibes, you've got Tia in Wolverhampton, you've got also Sandra B and Lady Destiny, the two females that started 2 years prior before me.
Yeah.
I was just on my own from when I started. I've never really had anybody as a team.
Yeah.
And I'm still on my own, and I probably will remain on my own because sometimes it's good to just do you.
Yeah.
You try it with other people, and sometimes it doesn't work. So you can always try these things. If it don't work, sometimes you're better left on your own to do you, and that's where I am at now. I'm doing me.
Great. Advantage and disadvantages of doing what you're doing.
Advantages are the feedback, the listeners, as I call them. I don't call them fans.
No,
I don't know.
I've never liked that word.
No, I haven't myself. I don't see them as fans. I see them as listeners, supporters.
That's right.
And I have a good amount of people doing it over the years that I do. You get new people all the time, and that's great. And it's because of them why I've been doing it as long, I have to say.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have to give them that credit.
Okay. What kind of musical genre do you play?
So I'm versatile.
Versatile.
I've always been versatile. I'm playing in the record shop from back in the 90s.
It allows you to do that.
It's allowed me to say, right, this is where I want to go.
Yeah.
I like a bit of everything, you know.
And myself, I mean, I started out many years ago as a guitarist. I'm a guitarist I started a guitarist in a soul band. And somebody said, "What we used to play reggae," and because I'm Jamaican and I was born in Jamaica, so I was born in reggae music.
Yes,
You've heard people say, "Was born in reggae music." Well, I was born in reggae music, so so that's what's always been there. I've heard the ska, I've heard the early Bob Marleys, I've heard all the ska, I've heard all the great artists from back in the day. But I was born in reggae music, so. And I used to play reggae music, and people say, "Oh, you can't serve two masters." I said, "Listen, I can go back to the soul, I can go to R&B, I can go to all that, and I still do that. Even my radio shows actually do. You know what I mean? I can go for Afrobeat, I can go to R&B, I can go to soul, I can go to reggae.
Yeah.
Even in my radio show, which I do actually do here at New Star Radio. So, and he doesn't, and the people actually broadcast actually loves it, which is actually great. So
I feel like you draw more of a crowd when you're playing different genres rather than just being selective and playing one or two.
Yeah, great. Who are some of your favorite artists? And there's a lot. And you got to think down. Remember the program?
I love Busy Signal.
Remember the program? What's called What's on Your Mind?
Yeah.
We haven't come to that yet.
I have to say, my listeners know I love Busy Signal. I mean, I'm all about lyrical content.
Yeah.
And always about pushing positivity, uplifting, whether that's male or female. And I feel like in a lot of our music that we have, there's always a message in the music.
Yeah.
So I'm all about that.
Mm.
So when it comes to certain artists, like I say, I do kind of look. Claire Angel, she's one of our own, and not being biased or anything, she is a good friend of mine. But putting that aside, as an artist, I think she's absolutely exceptional. I love most of her tracks. Her lyrical content is just on point. Her energy's on point. And for me, I like all the kind of uplifting tunes.
Yeah.
So as long as an artist can excel what they're doing,
Yeah.
it can move me, and I can enjoy it. It could be new, it could be old.
Mm.
But
Well,
yeah.
you hit a very good point. How do you feel about the sort of, I mean, we don't like to do negative, but it's that
Yeah.
there, so we have to talk about it.
Sure.
How do you sort of deal with the gun thing and the kill him and cut this and do that and all the rest of it? Because we hear that music. I mean, you don't play it, but we hear it.
And yeah.
the music is fine. There's nothing wrong with the music. It's the lyrical content that caused the damage.
I'm quite annoyed with society in itself,
Yeah.
like the government and, back in our day, as you know, although I'm not that old.
No, none of us are.
Yeah, but back in our day, you couldn't play songs with swearing in it.
No.
Never mind shooting and killing and all this lot. So the fact that, they're allowing this to happen, again, there's always a message in music. And if people, whoever is, and it needs to be taken off. I don't promote it. I don't play.
I will never play it.
Yeah.
I will never play it. I mean, and when he mentioned drugs, and even some of the tunes that they bleep out, I'm very, very have to set that example. And us who's in the business, you know what I mean? I've always felt that.
Well, we are into it. So anything that we're doing, for me anyway, it's always. I try and steer away from things that are I ban them kind of things. I don't love to hear them songs as well.
That's right.
You've got the younger generation absolutely love it. They love the swearing and all this. But personally, I don't.
You've done a set in Jamaica. What was that like?
In January, actually, this year, it seems so far away.
Yeah.
I have to say, and again, the only female.
Yes.
Yeah, in the male. First time I surprised a lot of them, to be fair. They didn't really know what to expect. Yeah, and it was a vibe. Playing music abroad,
and it was hot. And it was hot.
It was great, yeah. I wasn't nervous at all. I just got on with it. It was just me, myself, and I, as it always is.
Great.
And as women know how to multitask and play music at the same time.
Okay, tell me about the first time. What it was doing what you do, because it is a first for everything.
About 15 years ago, I remember like the first day we walked into Ocean near the clock, and somebody shouted, "Jennie P!" We was all like, so that was funny. Yeah. Oh wow. Yeah. So Gambia's like home as well.
Gambia's like home. Yeah.
Like literally.
Is it?
The people were absolutely amazing.
What's that? What?
Girls again. I was the only female, and they didn't know me. So that was great. But everybody. The Gambian people are so and them and beat them about. So that was great as well. So everybody knew Jennie P by like the next day.
Gosh.
So I couldn't walk nowhere. Literally, children, like especially for education as well, and just to really get them to understand there's another part of it. It's a poor country, and the children are not with a certain.
That's right.
And they are doing well and striving. And so it was very important for me to take my youngest there. And we donated to schools and to the people who I got to know in November when I first went. So that was another experience and a fabulous experience as well. So very grateful and blessed that I was able to do that both times. Yeah.
And was that the first time you go to Africa?
November was, yeah.
What does it feel like? Sort of goes to what we call the motherland. Yeah. What was that like?
It was well. I have to say, initially it was annoying because I didn't prepare myself for the male attention. Serious. I thought England was bad, but Gambia was like worse. I couldn't even go to the beach to do my little run. It was just so ridiculous the first 1 and 2 days. But yeah, once I'd settled into my hotel and stuff, then things just came. It was just great. We went to St James Island, the old Continental Island, and learnt a bit more about that, and just explored like the crocodile place, and just did things that you can't do in England. And having the weather as well was beautiful.
It was great.
And the people just took us like family. It was just really, really awesome.
Great. When are you going back?
So they keep asking me.
I never know what I just asked you that.
They keep asking me, and I'm really itching, I have to say, especially with the cold weather. So I'd have to say, just watch this space.
Great, great.
Yeah.
Right. Let's come forward a little bit. You was nominated for the Street Cred Award,
Yes.
which was on the 21st of November.
Yes, it was.
We was there, but we missed you. We didn't see you up there.
Yeah.
And you can go and watch that, guys. If you go to YouTube and watch Breakthrough TV Street Cred magazine, the 21st, you can actually see that. How did you find it? You was nominated by so many. As a what was you nominated as?
DJ and presenter.
DJ and presenter.
Yeah.
And it was great. Now, and a lot of people would have voted for you. Yes.
Yeah, I'd
Yes.
imagine so.
No, it's not. No imagination about it. A lot of people voting for you for actually do what you do. How do you feel
Do you
about
know
that?
what?
What would you say to them?
Well, what I've said is family, friends, and like I say, when you're doing it for so many listeners, so I can never disrespect them to get up out of my bed in the morning to do my show. So even if I'd have won the award, I would have dedicated it to my supporters and listeners.
Great. A lot of shows. A lot of you've been up there with a lot of the, you've been up there with a lot of the man. Was that the weekend or
Yeah,
that was the weekend with I think there was
2nd of December.
top what was it? Top Cat was down there. Was it?
Junior Cat.
Junior Cat. Josie Wells was there
Little
also.
John.
And Little John. Anyway.
Yeah.
How was that? How did you find that?
Yeah, it was a good vibe, good sessions. I've got so many talented artists, including Still Pulse. So I always have to make sure I play their music and also give them their flowers.
Yes, yeah. I mean, Claire Angela, you talk about lyrics.
Yep.
I love that tune.
And that's what I'm
I remember
saying.
we interviewed her in the summer at, was it Simmer Down? I think it was Simmer Down 20. No, Aston Park, 012, also love Run the Wicked Away. And she looked at me and says, Carl, you seem to know my song that I'm going to sing.
Yeah, I know all the lyrics.
Yes.
But Josie Whale and Junior Cat and Little John, I had the... do you know what? It was good. It was really good. When I interview, I have to... And you have correct information.
Yeah.
And when you're doing, you're mindful, and it's not an easy job.
No.
So, I've had the opportunity to do it for many, many times. So, for me, it's just like riding a bike. That's what I do. I love Abyssinians, Itana, the list goes on. Fred Locks, kill me. Terry Linen.
Oh, Terry Linen.
No
time to linger.
No time to... I feel very fortunate to not even just interview. My studio is full of pictures and artists.
Really to do that. I don't
Maxi
think,
Priest.
I think Maxi Priest said he went through.
He was in he was in London last year.
Yeah.
And then he came to Birmingham, didn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I've seen him a couple of times.
Wonderful artist, man. I do like Maxi Priest.
Yeah.
Because we used to hang around in Hansbury Park anyway.
Right.
Showing my age here.
Yeah.
We used to hang around in Hansbury Park. God, you used to be able to drive in Hansbury and you just chill out.
Yeah.
Would not know what it's.
We got a shout out to David and Selwyn.
And they're still going.
A couple of times.
Yeah.
And the fan base have been saying it.
You don't want to say that, but it's like a reality of things. You know what I mean?
You got to keep it real. This is the thing.
Yeah, that's right. And
you don't want to say it, but you're going to say it.
Yeah.
But you said it anyway.
I did say it to them. One of the coolest brother.
Love him not.
He's one of the coolest
I've
brothers.
had him in my studio.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's one. He comes in. I mean, I've known him for years, and I bumped into him sometime at one Sunday. And you know what? He was going on tour. He wasn't going to what he did, which is actually great, he was in the studio in London because he was doing something for, and he said to me, we don't know if we're going to be able to sort of, because we can do it by Zoom. And by the time I get here in the studio, he had phoned me and said he had found him to be a great brother, you know what I mean?
He's great. Love him, love.
Now, before I do that, before I do that, because this is a live program, and do that. Anyway, I want to ask you, what advice going on in your mind right now?
I need a holiday.
Is that all?
That's all I'm on.
That's all you're on.
I want a holiday. I was blessed to be able to fly out about the days, and I want more.
Great.
And the more I can play abroad, the better.
Yes.
You can find me on Instagram, Facebook, Jennie P, DJ Jennie P.
How do you get the name First Lady? Come about.
So Arawak Radio, which is a Coventry station, I've been on there back from. That's what they called me.
Great.
And it's just stuck really.
Shows coming up? Any shows coming up?
So just my usual Friday show, 11 till 1, Mixcloud Live. Last week, like I said, with the interviews. This week it's going to be playing music from our very own artists here in the West Midlands.
In the West Midlands.
Yeah.
And you call them artists from the West Midlands, or call them for the UK? How do you describe them? Because I know they don't like to be called local artists.
UK.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I generally,
UK artists.
I generally say artists from, because I do a feature here as well. And I generally call artists from the UK or the West Midlands.
Well, if you just say West Midlands, then it's just narrowing it down, isn't it?
But I use both because sometimes they're actually based in here. And I like to say they're based here, you know what I mean? Because it encourages other youths or other people who's listening to the radio. When you say this, I don't say the local artist, but I'd like to say from the West Midlands, because if you say from the West Midlands, then you think, oh, they're actually based in the West Midlands. So, and it actually sort of encourages other youth to think, oh, I could get there because they're based in the West Midlands. They're based in the West Midlands, and they'll actually break it out.
Yeah.
And that's the thinking behind that. You know what I mean?
See, I normally say, like, because obviously I play music from overseas artists as well.
Yeah, I do that as well.
Overseas and UK artists. That's how I normally.
Well, on my drive time show on a Thursday from 3 to 6 News Star Radio, I do a feature on just artists from the West Midlands and the UK,
Okay.
which is and it's a mixture. It's not just and I do it's a mixture of senior artists, younger artists. It's a whole total mixture, you know what I mean? So and I really mix it up, you know, and also artists from abroad as well, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Which is absolutely great. But that feature is just specifically for artists from the West Midlands, which is absolutely, you know, and the listeners like it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. So. Jennie P, my time is running out. It's gone quick, isn't it?
Has it gone already?
Yeah.
See, we could talk forever, mate.
We could talk forever. I know, we could talk forever. And anyway, guys, let me say thank you for coming into the studio.
You're very welcome.
I'll say thanks for taking the time out.
Yeah. If you ever knew what I was doing. So busy.
Well, no, sorry, leave it.
Yeah, leave it to another time.
Leave it. Right, guys, let me say thank you. Anyway, I have to do a roll call because I've been promising to do a bit of roll call for, you know what I mean, a lot of the artists and people that we actually talk to on this program and people who actually take the time out. So before we go, I just want to do a quick roll call. Yes. Now, Marcia Anderson, Children of the Sun, week, and I'll tell you the week. Week she was here, week 92, week 86, and week 85. If you go to Breakthrough TV, if you go to YouTube, Breakthrough TV, and you type the week in, you'll see this will come out. Also, Jennifer S. Wallace from Canada. She was on the program week 88. Also, Jennie Barrett was on the program week 90. Marcia Watson was on the program week 97. And she was also on the program week 100. Conita Taylor, week 98. Culture Jam, Miss Culture Jam. And don't forget the Legacy Center tonight down there, Miss Culture Jam. And a whole lot of artists is actually down there. So go and check the Wednesday Mike Fever out. That's tonight down there at the Legacy Center. Marcia Watson also again on week 100. Carlos Gabidan down here in Jamaica, week 101. Jennifer Wallace from Canada was also back in the program, week 102. Wow. Catherine Gabidan, the Gabidan Band, she was also here on week 103. Cherry, her baby, she was here on week 104. Also, Mr. Andrea Nelson, he was here on week 93. So we say big thanks to her. And Claire, how you doing, girl? Hope all is well, you too. She was here on week 106. The Equators Band was here on week 108. Marcia Williams, a wonderful lady who tells us her story. She was here a week 110. 112 was Siobhan, week 112. Prince Hammer, the great Prince Hammer, was here a week 114. Diagro was here week 113. 115 was Heather Haywood. And also, Patrick Panton was 117 week. 118 was Asher B. Tina B was here 119. 120 was Honeybee. Lots of B here. Sugar Rainbow 121. 122 was actually Soul Rebel. That was a wonderful lineup with Soul Rebel. Cherry was here also a week 124. 125, a wonderful lady, Empress. Skate Buddies, she represented Skate Buddies. She was actually here. And week 125. The great Amlak from Steel Pulse, the bass player, was here a week 126. Wow. And Levi One Drop Washington was here a week 127. 128 was Leroy Brown, the man who invented the ear jack. He was here a week 128. 129, Marcia with Black History Walk, she was here a week 129. Week 130, Mr. Winston Francis and AJ Franklin from the wonderful group. They was also here as well. And we say big shout out to you. Alicia Scott, finally, Alicia Scott, Windrush Baby. She's also worked for Radio 1 Extra, was here week 131. Jennifer Leah, the sickle cell warrior, she was here a week 132. The great hat man was here a week 133. Also, you can catch us New Star Radio Live with Tipper Irie. I did a wonderful interview with Tipper Irie. Also, Kirk Diamond. Let me say thank you. I want to say thanks to my producer I want to say thank to all you wonderful people who actually take part in the wonderful program that we actually have. We say thank you, and we take nothing for granted. And we say, please continue to support the show. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the program. Remember, this is a live stream. There is no editing. It is real as what you see it. Jenny, thank you.
Thank you very much for
I want to
having
say
me.
thanks, Mr. Producer. Anything you'd like to say? Something to your fans? Or I know you don't call them fans. Something to all your supporters? Say something to all your...
Well, just keep listening every Friday, Mixcloud Live. It's all about entertaining the people from 11 to 1 o'clock. I've been doing it for 8 years now, streamed through to 5, 6 radio stations. It's a vibe. If you want to be picked up in the morning on a Friday, ready for your weekend, log into First Lady Jennie P.
First Lady Jennie P, let me say thank you.
You're welcome.
Enjoy the show?
Yeah, interesting. I haven't been interviewed for... Well, the last time I told you I was interviewed was by Robert T.
Robert T.
Which wasn't that long ago. But I don't get interviewed very often. So, yeah, it's always nice to kind of go back on the history.
It's good to
remember.
It's good to that. And what this program actually does, I mean, I don't know about any other program, but what this program actually does, it is always there.
Yeah.
It's not locked away in the archives.
Yeah.
So whether your children or your grandchildren or whoever, it's always on YouTube.
Right.
So whenever time in their life, or through whether their life, get it right, Carl. Whenever time, I speak too fast. Whenever time in their life or throughout their life, they want to go back and look at mommy, or somebody from your family want to go back and look at it, they just punch it up and you'll see it because it is always there on YouTube.
Yeah.
Breakthrough TV. Thanks, producer. We're out. God bless.